What does your life look like? Do you ever wake up some days and you just find yourself running from thing to thing to thing, from this child's practice to that child's recital, from work to an after work event to coming back to the office to work on a project? Do you ever stop and say to yourself, in the midst of trying to be everything to everyone, do you ever stop and go, who am I? Who is this person? Like, where did my life go? Does that sound familiar? Far too often, we lose ourselves in other people. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 simple practices that you can use to untangle yourself from others and get back to living your life. Hi, I'm Cassandra Vaughn, and this is Cassandra Vaughn TV, a life redesign channel for women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who want to rebuild their minds, redesign their lives, and re-establish their powerful sense of self-worth. If you're a woman in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, and you are ready to rebuild your life, meaning you are ready to put on your crown, to reclaim the throne and to rule your kingdom, click subscribe and click the bell, and you'll be alerted every time there's a new video, and they will all relate to you. So if you're a giver, if you're a fixer, if you're the person that everybody in your family runs to, you are totally gonna get what I'm about to talk about. I have so many clients who say to me, I am so tired of being everything to everyone. The rock, the babysitter, the fixer, the problem solver, the counselor, the negotiator, the peacemaker in the family. And the reality of the situation is it's fantastic to be a powerhouse of a woman. It is fantastic to feel like you can handle whatever comes your way. You can stand in the gap for people and you can champion their causes. However, when you being a powerhouse comes at the expense of your ability to keep your commitments to yourself, that's when we have a problem. That's when we go into the territory of self-betrayal, and then it becomes this vicious cycle of having to live up to some superwoman standard that you didn't set, but you keep meeting. Also, other people feel better while your level of self-esteem and self-confidence and self-worth and self-belief goes lower and lower and lower. That's got to stop. So to stop that, to stop losing yourself in other people, there are things that you can do. Let's talk about them. So 3 simple practices that you can use to stop losing yourself in other people. Practice number 1, choose yourself first. Choose yourself first. It sounds really simple, but for those of us who are bent on putting other people first, for those of us who've been last on the priority list for forever, this is a very hard one. Choose yourself first. Now, it's going to feel selfish when you do it the first 5,000 times. It's going to feel selfish. It's going to feel hard. People are going to give you backlash. I'm just going to prep you already. People are going to give you backlash. But here's the reality. If you don't put yourself first, if you don't choose yourself first, you are teaching people that you come last. You're teaching them that it's okay that you come last. You're teaching them that it's okay that they don't ever have to think about you because you don't think about you. So I love this question from Mark Groves at Create the Love on Instagram. And the question that he asked is, what would choosing myself first, what would be choosing myself in this moment? What would be choosing myself in this moment? So there are not always going to be moments where you can choose yourself first. There will be times when that's just not a possibility. But in those moments where you feel the pull of, if I choose them first right now, I am betraying myself. This is where this question comes in. What would choosing myself look like in this moment? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And then choose yourself first. Because at the end of the day, you can't be mad at people who are putting you last if you've set years of an example of doing the same. You can't be mad at them because you've taught them how to treat you. So I want you to comment below and tell me, where do you typically do this put yourself last thing? Where does this show up for you the most? And what are you now going to do to start choosing yourself first, even when it feels selfish, even when people give you backlash, even when it's hard? Where do you typically put yourself last? And what are you going to do to now say, what would choosing myself first look like in this moment? And then do that. Comment below and tell me. Second strategy to stop losing yourself in other people is a really simple, practical one. And it's going to seem almost counterintuitive, but you'll see how this works. If you want to stop losing yourself in other people, put your phone down. In other words, that smartphone, I'm just going to tell you, having been raised at a time where there were no smartphones, that smartphone gets people into more drama, mess, and nonsense than they ever would have known had we not had cell phones in place. Now, I love my cell phone, love my iPhone 11. I think it's totally awesome. However, if you know that you have friends and family members and colleagues and people who want to blow up your phone at 11 o'clock at night, at midnight, at 5 a.m., at 6 a.m., if you know that you are always in the midst of putting out fires because they are coming from your smartphone, then when you know it's time to put yourself first, when you know that you are currently working on a priority that is all about you, for example, when I lift weights, all about me, not looking at other people's drama on my phone, put your phone on silent, put it on do not disturb, shut it down. Because the reality is that you could set up a really solid boundary and avoid a lot of getting put into situations where you don't belong if you would just carve the time to really work on you and focus on you. And while you're doing that time, the phone is off. The phone is not for use. It is not available. Now, I get that when you have children, that's a hard thing. If they're at practice or they're somewhere, what if they need you? You got to put certain measures in place. Here's what I am saying. You still don't need to be on Facebook looking at your family's drama. You still don't need to be on Instagram seeing who's doing what. You still don't need to be responding to text messages from friends who are always jumping from one La Vida Loca to the next. Like, you've got to set up that boundary. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to silence your phone, the source of too much drama. Silence it, put it away, shut it off, especially when you are dedicating time to work on you. Third simple practice that you can use to stop losing yourself in other people is remind yourself of this one truth. Everybody has the ability to save themselves. Everybody. You are not any person's savior. You are not responsible for saving other people when they have the ability and the capacity to save themselves. And in fact, if you are always running in as somebody's knight, white knight on a horse, whatever, but you're always running in to save people, you are actually subconsciously telling them that you don't believe that they have the power to save themselves. It is a very codependent, disempowering message to send to people that you claim you love. So let's remember this one truth. You are not required to save anybody but yourself. They have the capacity to handle whatever comes. They, whoever they are, have the capacity to save themselves. In fact, if you are always running to their rescue, if you are always bailing them out, if you are always doing everything for them so they never experience discomfort, hardship, struggle, sacrifice, they're not learning how to be powerful in their own lives because you're robbing them of their lows. Never rob somebody of their low. Never rob somebody of their low. Do you know that for most of us, we have to hit the low to rise to the high? We got to hit the ground to learn that we have the power to get back up. Don't steal that from people. Don't take it from them. So you need to, if you want to stop losing yourself in other people's stuff, you need to remind yourself when you feel like running in to save them, I am no one's savior. They don't need a savior. They have the power to save themselves, and I'm going to step back and I'm going to let them do that because that's how they will discover their power. I'm robbing them of their opportunity to learn about their own greatness. Every time I run, every time I save, every time I am helicopter parenting and bailing folks out, I am robbing them of the ability to know who they truly are in and of themselves without me. So Third strategy that you can use to stop losing yourself in other people, remind yourself of that truth. You are no one's savior. And everybody has the ability to save themselves. There you have it, my 3 simple practices to stop losing yourself in other people. Now, if you find yourself constantly feeling obligated to be everything to everybody, feeling overextended, feeling stressed by all of the pressure that so many other people are putting on you, if you find yourself losing yourself in other people and saying yes to everything and feeling guilty the very few times you say no, then it is not only time for you to set up better boundaries, it's time for you to rebuild yourself, because your mindset about how you approach life is something that, for whatever reason, is really focused on being about everybody but you. And you are the center of your universe. So I want to invite you to check out the 10-week Rebuild Yourself program. It is geared to women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who are ready to rebuild their lives by rebuilding their minds first. This is all about mindset. This is all about how to create and keep healthy boundaries. This is all about learning how to own your yes, and more importantly, own your no. This is about being unapologetically who you are and finding and attracting the people who love who that is. No masks required. So check out the 10-week Rebuild Yourself program at CassandraVaughn.com/programs. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching and have an amazing week.